Hey everyone, Steve Ferguson here, Thrive Mortgage. Thanks so much for tuning into this channel today and watching this video. Today I want to start with a really basic information. For you guys who are renters who have never bought a home before, I really want to get into like the mortgage 101 stuff, right? So first of all, what is a mortgage? A mortgage is simply a loan that you can get to purchase a home. It doesn't need to be any more complicated than that. It's just really basic information. It's just a loan so you can buy a home. Now, let's say you're ready to buy a home. What's the very first thing that you should do? Well, let's talk about some steps for you guys. So step number one, the very first thing that you want to do is complete a loan application. Now, the way that you do this is you contact a lender. So let's back up a little bit and talk about what's a lender? How do I contact them? So there's three different ways to get a home mortgage. The first way is a bank. So banks, like any of the banks you drive by in your neighborhood, you see those hard locations, those real pretty buildings, etc. You can walk into one of them, tell them you're interested in getting a home loan, and you can apply with that bank. Now that bank can only give you loans for anything that they offer. They can't give you loans for other banks or other programs. It's whatever they have in that bank, that's all that they can offer you. Option number two is what's called a mortgage broker. Say a mortgage broker is an individual person that can take your loan application, they can meet you generally face-to-face, sometimes they're online, and they farm out your loan to lots of different banks. They don't have anything in-house that they can offer you. It's sending the loan somewhere else, right? We're gonna see what this bank has to offer, this bank has to offer, this bank has to offer. The third and final option, which is my favorite option, is called a mortgage banker. Say a mortgage banker does both of the things we just talked about. They have their own in-house products that they can lend you, plus they can take your loan to other banks. The benefit you have there is flexibility. Not everybody offers the same programs. There's a lot of programs out there, and you'd be surprised to know that not every loan officer understands those programs or even has them available to themselves, right? So you want to go somewhere that gives you the most flexibility for finding the right home loan for you. So that's the very first thing. Choose the right person that's going to get you the home loan. Bank, broker, mortgage banker, right? Again, I'm a big fan of the mortgage banker because I am one. I work for a company that is one. Now, once you choose who you're going to go with, the next step is the loan application. That person you're working with should be a licensed loan officer. So let me explain what this is. Every licensed loan officer has to take a test to become a loan officer. So I'm going to tread lightly here, but if you're working with some organizations, those loan officers that have a desk in that office are exempt from being licensed, which means they don't have to take the test to become a loan officer. That means that they didn't have to go through all the training and all the necessary items to become a licensed loan officer and a tested loan officer. If you're working with a broker or a mortgage banker, all of those guys have to be licensed and have to have taken the tests. If you're working with an organization that's FDIC insured, they do not have to take the test to become a licensed loan officer. It's just important information for you guys. From a licensed loan officer perspective, they're going to ask you some very detailed questions to figure out what's the best solution for you guys in regards to what you need for a home mortgage. You know, if you're a renter and you want to buy in a certain area, what kind of programs are available? Do you want to buy a multifamily property where you can rent out one side and live in another? Do you need down payment assistance? Do you have plenty of money down, but you need gift funds to cover the closing costs? Are you self-employed and you need a special program for that? Those are all programs that exist, but you want to make sure you work with somebody that has access to those programs and is knowledgeable about them as well. So that litmus test is kind of that test with a license associated with the loan officer themselves. So the loan application is going to ask you detailed information about where you've lived the last 2 years, where you've worked for the last 2 years, what your asset situation looks like for at least the last 60 days generally. It's going to look at information regarding, do you have a driver's license, social security card, are you a resident alien, ITIN, or U.S. citizen? Those types of things are really important to figure out which programs are available to you. The loan application generally takes about 15 minutes to complete. Now, it can be done face-to-face. It can be done securely online. There's lots of different options that you have. So remember, you can apply for a mortgage loan from the convenience of your home. You don't have to go to a location to do a mortgage loan. However, if you want to, that's perfectly fine too. right? We have a location that you can definitely come and visit with me face to face, right? But we have the secure online application as well. And that way, from the comfort of your home and your jammies, for lack of a better description, you can sit there and do a loan application. Now, once your loan application is complete, what happens next? A loan officer is going to review the information that you provided, and then they're going to create possibilities for you. Based on what you've sent to me, I believe that we can do option A, option B, and option C. And that's going to vary for every individual client, right? Your specific situation is different than everybody else's. So the more knowledgeable the person is that you're working with, the more likely that you're going to have a lot of different options, or provided options that might work and create solutions to get you to the point of qualifying for a home loan. So that's all super important. So keep that in mind. Once that loan application is finished, you're going to get issued what's called a pre-qualification letter, assuming everything looks good and we can qualify you for a home loan. Then the pre-qualification letter is issued. Now, there's two types of letters that you can generally receive as a person applying for a mortgage. A pre-qualification letter means that you've completed your loan application. I have verbal income, verbal assets, probably an automated underwriting approval, which is just a system that we use. That gives us enough information to feel comfortable to say you're pre-qualified. A pre-approval letter is different, and it's a stronger letter. Now, I do want to be clear. Some loan officers intermix these terminologies between pre-qualified and pre-approved. They are definitely different from each other. So a pre-approval letter, and by the way, there's a great video on my channel called The Golden Ticket Loan. It talks some more about this, but a pre-approval means that not only have you done the loan application, we've run automated approval, you provided us all of your documentation, any income documentation, asset documentation, pay stubs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, we have verified all that information. And for my group, we actually send it all the way through underwriting, which is again, our golden ticket loan. And we get an underwriting approval on your file subject to property, which means you haven't found a home yet, but we've already taken you through underwriting, and an underwriter reviews all your paperwork to make sure that it matches the guidelines for the loan. And then we issue a pre-approval letter, which is the strongest letter you can really get when you're making an offer on a home. That's really important because when you're making an offer on a home, you want to make sure that your offer is accepted, right? So the stronger your letter is, the more likely your offer is going to be accepted, right? So that's the process of what the beginning stages of getting ready to buy a home look like. Now, it's really important to choose a great agent. If you've already got one that you're working with, that's fantastic. If you need a referral for a great realtor, my team and I, or any loan officer that you're working with, can absolutely refer you to a great partner. We work with many people, and we tend to know who's a great agent and what that looks like for you. So we want to set you up for success in the mortgage side of things. That's a loan officer's job, is to make sure that you're set up for success, that it's going to be a clean, concise process with excellent communication, because this is probably the most expensive thing you've ever purchased. You want to make sure that you're working with the right team. Now, from a loan officer perspective, the next step for us is, okay, you're working with an agent, you're out home shopping, which is a lot of fun, and you find the right house. Now what? The next step is you go under contract. Contract means that you're writing an offer on the piece of property, you're putting in writing, you're putting some funds down to hold that property, and the seller signs and agrees to those terms. I'm not going to get a whole lot into the funds that you put down because that's going to be something your realtor is going to talk to you about, your real estate agent. But from the lending side, once that contract comes to us, generally from start to finish, it takes about 30 days to close a home loan. Now, there's exceptions to every rule. Some close much faster, some take longer. It just depends on your specific situation, but you can count on about a month for your home loan to get all the way taken care of. During that time frame, what happens is all of your documents are set up to match your new purchase contract. So you plug in the right address, the purchase price, down payment if there is one. All those specific details get updated into our system to match your specific situation you have going on right now. Then we send that file back into underwriting after we've gathered the documents or any updates that we need to have. So for example, if we got a pay stub a few months ago, we need an updated pay stub. If we didn't have an updated bank statement, whatever that may be, we're gathering all that documentation to send it back into underwriting. Now, the underwriter is going to go through and make sure that everything matches the requirements for the specific program that you're qualifying for. It's their job to check the boxes, right? Do we have 30 days pay stubs? Yes, we do. Is there overtime? Yes, there is. How do we count the overtime? What does all this look like? We don't need to get into those weeds right now. Just understand that the underwriter's job is to make sure that they go into intricate detail to make sure everything fits, right? As a loan officer, it's my job to package that loan in a way for the underwriter to understand it clearly and to make sure on the front side that everything is going to be legitimate and work great and go smoothly. And so, again, the more knowledgeable team that you're working with, the more likely that will go for a smoother process, right? So once the underwriter says, hey, we're good, but we may be missing a couple of things, then they're going to issue what's called a conditional approval, which means you're approved, but there's a couple of conditions we need to meet. So for example, we need some information from the title company, or maybe we're missing a survey on the property, or whatever it happens to be. We've got to get a couple of items to get you taken care of. Now, as we're gathering those documents, we're putting them all together. Again, the loan officer is checking the documents you're providing. Is this going to work? Is this going to check the box that the underwriter is looking to check? And we'll educate you on those things as we're moving forward. We can also do letters of explanation, which means, we want to paint a clear picture for the underwriter when they're working on your file. So imagine if you took a big old puzzle and you dumped it on the table and you didn't have a picture to put it together with. It makes it really hard to put the puzzle together, right? So same thing on the mortgage side. If we can write a letter that explains, hey, here's what's going on, here's the pieces, here's why they're going to be good, and give that to the underwriter, they don't have to guess, right? We can create that and put it in process to make sure that the process is smooth for you as the borrower. So we gather the documents, send it back in the underwriter. Underwriter does the final check to make sure everything's right, and then they issue what's called a clear to close. That's 3 great words right there, clear to close. That means you are approved, and now we're putting everything together at the very end to get you closed. So once the clear to close happens, then the lender will also work with their closers. A closer is somebody whose entire job is to gather all the paperwork that the underwriter's already approved and draw up all the closing documents. Every state is different. Every state has different laws on closing documents. I'm in Texas, so Texas has their own closing documents required. The closer is going to work with the closer at the title company. So a title company, or like if you're in California, an escrow office, whatever that happens to be, are the people that actually close your loan. They're a third-party company, not associated with the lender, generally speaking, and they're going to be the ones sitting with you to sign all the documents. So our closer on the lending side is visiting with the closer on the title company or escrow side to coordinate everything, right, to put it all together. Then you're going to be notified as to when that closing is finished, and that way you can get everything taken care of, you can sign the documents, and finish the loan from start to finish. And then congratulations, you've got keys to a house, and you're ready to go. Well, guys, I hope that information was informative for you. I want you to have the basics of what mortgage looks like. Watch my other videos. There's some great products on here, some great information for you, and I look forward to speaking with you soon. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Actually, I'm pointing in the wrong direction. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you guys soon. All right. Bye-bye.